My name's Simon Alsop. Today, we're talking to successful entrepreneur, Richard Bell. He's currently the CEO of Leaderz, which has 300 employees, and he was also recognized as the 2020 Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the finance category. Every year, he mentors 20 unique business owners and helps them on their path running a business. So today we'll be talking to him about what small business owners can be doing as they prepare for this long extended lockdown to finally be over next month. Rich, thank you very much for your time today to have a chat with us. So given that you're working so closely with small business owners, we'd love your thoughts. What do you think small business owners are going through now? We've been in lockdown since basically the end of June. So we're in September now. So we've had 3 full months in lockdown. What's happening in the small business world out there?
Good question. I think first of all, business owners have been going through, somewhat of a lockdown or a change in circumstance for the last 2 years. COVID hit us in January 2020, and that is sort of, January 2022 is coming around relatively quickly. So I think a lot of small business owners out there right now are feeling fatigued. They're feeling like, what's going to happen in the future? Is my business safe? Am I going to have enough working capital? What happens if we get another lockdown, coming into 2022? And then probably the last thing I think they're thinking and feeling is, how do we manage this whole, do I allow people into my business if they're vaccinated or they're not? How do I write policy around that? How do I ensure that I'm doing the right thing by Fair Work, but also by my customers to keep them safe and well? So that's what I think small business owners are thinking right now. And definitely from my experience, that's what they're going through. But I also think that there's a small glimmer of hope and excitement and anticipation of what is going to happen now that we are vaccinated. And what I think will take place is what I call the rubber band effect, where it will come so fast and so quick that we need to be prepared.
If you were talking to a business owner who, look, I think your description of feeling fatigued is a really good one. If you were talking to a small business owner who's like a bit worn out, but after all this lockdown, but can sense that things are going to open up again in a few weeks' time, what would you recommend that this business owner should be doing?
Okay, so first things first, I think that the business owner needs to make sure that operationally it's ready to be able to take on customers. So whether that's a product or a service that they provide, could be a coffee shop or a hair salon or a gym or whatever, but they need to be operationally ready. So what I mean by operationally ready is making sure that all of the staff that you did have pre-lockdown, you still have, and also making sure that the training of those staff is proficient and is where it needs to be, because people have been, potentially not working for a couple of months. They may have, their skills may not be where they were when you trained them 3 or 4 months ago. So making sure that you've got, the operations of the organization ready to go. So staff ready, nice and trained. And then probably the underlying piece of that is making sure that your staff mentally and from a cultural perspective are also prepared to pick up their workload significantly. They're on board with you when customers do come back. So that's the first thing, operationally ready. The second thing is, I think it's really important that you start to consider things like supply chains. And is there going to be any delay in delivering any of your product or your service? Whether that is, you might get things from overseas, you might get things from interstate. There might be a delay in your product delivery or your supply chain that you traditionally might have. So really trying to think, will these delays cause me any challenges moving forward? So you don't want to go and try and get a whole heap of customers on board if you can't deliver that product or that service. I know now even some of the retailers are getting nervous about being able to deliver their products and services around Christmas time. A good friend of mine, Ruslan Kogan, runs Kogan.com, which is an online retailer, and 4 months backlogged and telling their customers to order their Christmas presents now.
Wow.
And then the third thing is, and I think this is an age-old principle, make hay while the sun shines. So when this comes when we come out of this lockdown and when things do start to pick up, it's said that Australians will have more money in their bank account than they have ever had in history, because they have been staying at home, they haven't been traveling, they haven't been spending, they haven't been going out for dinners. So people will be ready to spend money, and you need to be ready from a business owner's perspective to take full advantage of that and be ready to grow and really hit the ground running. You know, otherwise your competitors will come straight past you, because right now they're preparing for that if you're not.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Now's definitely the time to be prepared. As things ramp up, I can sense it's going to be a very busy time in the lead up to Christmas. Already we've experienced like it's almost impossible to get restaurant bookings and all of this, with the anticipation and excitement of everybody getting ready to hopefully catch up in person once again quite soon. But yeah, some good messages there. Make sure you've nailed your operational processes during this time. Make sure you've got your supply chain sorted. Everybody's been talking about freight this year and how everything's slowed down in coming on board. Look, before we wrap up, are there any final messages that you'd like to share with our small business clients that could be watching today?
Yeah, sure. The final message from me is, I think any small business owner starts a business because they have a vision in mind, they have something in mind that they want to achieve, that they're really passionate about, whether that is to deliver value to customers or create change somewhere or innovate something. And I just encourage you. I know it's been a tough couple of years. I'm in business. We're all in business. It's been an incredibly demanding couple of years. But don't let this hiccup in what will be your 20 or 30-year vision that you may have get in the way of that. It's easy to feel down in the dumps, but now this is coming. Now that we're coming back out of it, make sure that you get back on the horse. You lead from the front, and you keep that vision that's so special to you because it's yours and you started it. Make sure that you keep that front of mind. And as I said, the worst thing that could happen is you sit back in 3 or 4 years' time and talk about the impact of COVID without recovering. You want to sit back in 3 or 4 years' time and look at the lessons from COVID and be really happy that you made it through COVID and bounced out the other side. Don't become a casualty of COVID, and keep your eye on where you're going and why you started your business.
Yeah, so true, so true. I think that's such a good message. Particularly, love that bit. Stay true to your vision, even though the way that you get there might be slightly different to what you initially planned. But yeah, stay true to the vision on the way through. It's a really good message. Hey, we're going to let you run. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yep, not a problem at all. It's been great. Thanks, guys, and best of luck coming out of this period.
Yeah, appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.